Nightingale, nightingale, sing of joy through the night. Teach my heart to impart everywhere your delight. Sing of moon rays on the rain, sing that love's not in vain. Every grief, every wrong has its ending in song. Nightingale, nightingale, sing of joy through the night. Teach all men how to spin clouds of gloom into light. Without silence, what is song? Without night, where is dawn? Were it not for men's woes, who would smile at a rose? Nightingale, nightingale, sing of joy through the night. Let each tone silence roll, earth and heaven unite. Morning laughter, evening tears, snow and blossoms all fade. Joy must sing in the night to face change unafraid. Nightingale, nightingale, nightingale.
The voice of God calls us to awaken him. How will he find us when he comes?
Awake and ready.
And when he asks us to dedicate ourselves ever more perfectly to him, how will he find us?
Awake and ready.
Let's pray together. Heavenly Father,
Heavenly Father,
Divine Mother,
Divine Mother,
friend, beloved God,
friend, beloved God,
great Master,
great Masters,
Jesus Christ,
Jesus Christ,
Babaji Krishna,
Babaji Krishna,
Lahiri Mahashaya,
Lahiri Mahashaya,
Swami Sri Yukteswar,
Swami Sri Yukteswar,
Paramahansa Yogananda,
Paramahansa Yogananda,
saints of all religions,
saints of all religions,
we humbly bow to you all.
we humbly bow to you all.
Divine Mother,
Divine Mother,
take us in your arms.
take us in your arms,
Lead us out of all delusion.
lead us out of all delusions,
Into thy bliss.
into thy bliss,
Into thy love.
into thy love,
And make us your emissaries.
and make us your emissaries
Of divine blessings.
of divine blessings
In this world.
in this world.
Om. Peace. Amen. Please be seated.
Some men call it progress, down with those who doubt. To join the causes others join, and shout when others shout. Come, you're a man, no passive stone. Stand up and call your soul your own. Go on alone, go on alone. Banish weakness, go on alone. Go on alone, go on alone. Don't look back, just go on alone. Some men lack the daring ever to be free. They shun the heights and crowd the depths and court security. Come, you're a man, no passive stone. Stand up and call your soul your own. Go on alone, go on alone. Banish weakness, go on alone. Go on alone, go on alone. Don't look back, just go on alone. Coward mercy, but pride in singularity. Oh, never mind if men are wrong, so long as they agree. Come, you're a man, no passive stone. Stand up and call your soul your own. Go on alone, go on alone. Banish weakness, go on alone. Go on alone, go on alone. Don't look back, just go on alone. Claim the power within you, error to defy. The world may change or disappear, but truth can never die. Come, you're a man, no passive stone. Stand up and call your soul your own. Go on alone, go on alone. Banish weakness, go on alone. Go on alone, go on alone. Don't look back, just go on alone.
Let's continue to meditate as we listen to these words from affirmations for self-healing on our quality for this week, which is positive thinking. As we think, so we become. And as we think, so our lives and circumstances become also. From the divine consciousness comes answers to all our questions and solutions to all our problems. It is in lower consciousness that confusion reigns. Think positively in everything you do, for in that way you help to attune yourself to the divine flow. One who is inwardly in tune with grace finds all things harmonious and beneficial being attractive to him. Positive thinking, combined with the sense of divine attunement, is never presumptuous, for it draws its power not from the ego, but from the consciousness of God's joy within. Let's affirm together, first in a strong voice out loud, and then we'll get progressively softer until finally mentally. My outer life is a reflection of my inner thoughts.
My outer life is a reflection of my inner thoughts.
Filled with the joy of God.
Filled with the joy of God.
I express His joy and harmony.
I express His joy and harmony
in everything I do.
in everything I do.
My outer life is a reflection of my inner thoughts.
My outer life is a reflection of my inner thoughts.
Filled with the joy of God.
Filled with the joy of God.
I express His joy and harmony.
I express His joy and harmony
in everything I do.
in everything I do.
Now in a whisper, my outer life is a reflection of my inner thoughts. Filled with the joy of God. I express His joy and harmony in everything I do. Now mentally, but hold your consciousness at the point between the eyebrows, with the gaze uplifted there. Yogananda said this is the broadcasting station. My outer life is a reflection of my inner thoughts. Filled with the joy of God, I express His joy and harmony in everything I do. And pray silently with me. Problems cannot exist, Lord, wherever Thou art near. Give me strength always to hold Thee in my heart. Om. Peace.
Good morning, friends.
Good morning.
It's great to see some old friends like Paul and new friends. My name is Narayan. This is my wife, Dharmadevi. It's a joy for us to, and welcome to our friends online as well. Joy for us to share our Sunday service with you. Every week we read from this book. It's called Rays of the One Light. And these are parallel passages from the Bible and the Bhagavad Gita. And this week's topic is victory demands the courage of conviction. Truth is one and eternal. Realize oneness with it in your deathless self within. The following commentary is based on the teachings of Paramahansa Yogananda. Jesus Christ said in the Gospel of St. Matthew, chapter 10, "Think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword. For I am come to set a man at variance against his father, and the daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And a man's foes shall be they of his own household. He that loveth father or mother more than me is not worthy of me, and he that loveth son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. And he that taketh not his cross and followeth after me is not worthy of me. He that findeth, that is to say, that clingeth to his life shall lose it, and he that loseth, in other words, that giveth up his life for my sake, shall find it." God tests the firmness of our faith. The sword described here is the sword of discrimination. The struggle Jesus described is not a war against unknown enemies, but the struggle with our own attachment to all that is nearest and dearest to us, humanly speaking. Ultimately, it is a war against the ego itself and against anything with which we surround ourselves to bolster the ego's fragile sense of security. When Yogananda, as a boy, fled to the Himalayas to embrace a life of solitary meditation, he was apprehended by his older brother, Ananda, and brought home again. At a certain point, before he would accept defeat, he whispered to his friend Amar, his companion on the flight, "Let us slip away when opportunity offers. We can go on foot to Rishikesh." But Amar, whose brother had accompanied Ananda, had turned pessimist, disclaiming any intention of continuing their adventure. Yogananda's memorable comment on Amar's refusal was, he was enjoying the familial warmth. The spiritual warrior rejects that familial warmth. Rather, he claims the whole universe as his home. As the Bhagavad Gita puts it in the 14th chapter, unaffected by outward joys and sorrows, or by praise and blame, secure in his divine nature, regarding with equal gaze a clod of mud, a stone, and a bar of gold, impartial toward all experiences, whether pleasant or unpleasant, firm-minded, untouched by either praise or blame, treating everyone alike, whether friend or foe, free from the delusion that in anything he does, he is the doer. Such a one has transcended nature's triune qualities. Thus, through Holy Scripture, God has spoken to mankind.
Start by reading to you from Whispers from Eternity, so Yogananda's prayer demands. And this is the demand that through all tests and trials, the love of God may never fade. O Spirit, I care not if all sufferings come to me, or all things be taken away from me. I pray only that my love for thee never fade through my own negligence. May my love for thee burn brightly forever on the altar of my constant remembrance. So we missed you all last week. We were in Palo Alto at our beautiful community there, and we had a little warning before we went from Shanti, who leads the work there, and she said, "I want to let you know it's a little intimidating." And I was like, "Oh, it'll be fine. It's Ananda, it's family." And she said, yeah, but it's a really big stage. And I was like, I mean, it's just a bigger stage. It's okay. We have a nice little small stage here. But sure enough, we got there, and it was like, oh my God! It's a beautiful converted Catholic church, and it's just massive. I mean, huge ceilings and the stained glass windows, and big stage. I mean, you have no idea how big that stage is. It's like Narayan said, it was like 3 steps. I'm like, there was like 7 steps up to that stage, and just, about 20 feet back, and it was massive and quite intimidating. But it really made me appreciate our family here, and just the informal nature of our services here together. But at the same time, it's so powerful. I just recommend that you all go visit all of our communities around the world, because every time you go, no matter what the stage looks like, the people all have that vibration of love and joy, and it's just like coming home to a really big stage somewhere. So this topic, victory demands the courage of our convictions, and when I was reflecting on this, I really thought about it in 2 ways. There's the outer way and the inner way, and Swami touches on these in the reading, but I'll just go a little more into it. Narayan was sharing actually yesterday about how when he came to Ananda, he was met by some opposition, and it was some familial opposition, and probably something that a lot of us can relate to when we come very strongly onto the spiritual path. Someone once said that it would be easier to deal with my family if I told them that I was decided to become an alcoholic than that I decided to get onto the spiritual path. Because really, where does anger and fear come from? It comes from ignorance, right? And so there's an ignorance of the spiritual path, because not many people have traveled that path, and if they've traveled it in a familiar way. This is what we do. We go to church every Sunday, and this is what happens. This is what spirituality looks like. But if you were to go deeper into that, you're maybe a little crazy, or you're getting fanatical, or what's going to happen to you? But I'll share with you my story that I haven't shared very much because it's quite painful, but it has a happy ending, as all good stories do. When I came onto the spiritual path, and I had already been delving into things that in Georgia hopefully now are not still considered totally woo-woo and hocus pocus and voodoo and all of that. But at the time they were, like Reiki and all other forms of alternative healing, that I was then considered to be practicing witchcraft, but that was okay. Okay, she's gone this far. But when I decided that I was joining Ananda and really dedicating my life to God and to the spiritual journey, it was not easy. A lot of my family was okay with it, but one member of my family that I grew up closest to, my older brother, I have 2 older brothers. We were very, very close growing up and all through my young adult life. And so he got wind that I was moving to California and did a little bit of research, not, just enough to get the bad bits, but so he knows me so well. You know, the people that are closest to us know exactly which little buttons to push and how to get to us. So he knew I'm not gonna get angry with her or like yell at her or tell her what I think she should do. No, he knew the little to get me because he knows of my somewhat rebellious nature. So we were walking and he was helping me move. God bless him. And he just put on this robot voice and said, "So now we will meditate." And it just got me. It was like, ooh, because he was saying, you're being brainwashed. You're joining a cult, and you have no brain, no mind of your own. And I was like, oof. So I was stewing. It's like, took everything I had, you know, not to just let him have it. But, you know, it was very challenging to see that and to have to watch that relationship divide because I couldn't. He would not follow me on this path, and I had to keep going. Narayan described his journey with his family as they had the Italian intervention and sat him down at the table and presented all the reasons that he should not be part of Ananda, and gave a very good debate, I'm sure. And Narayan said he took Yogananda's advice as someone was arguing with him, with Yogananda, and Yogananda saw there was no opening for to share the truth with this person. So he said, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. And so Narayan took a page from Master's book there and said to his family, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. And you know, all that energy, all that emotion, when it's met with calmness, it's like the greatest armor that we could possibly have, that center of calm inner peace. Nothing can affect that when we go deep into it. And so, you know, eventually, just as Yogananda's aggressor got tired of the fight and not getting the kind of response that they wanted, okay, well, I guess we can't convince you to stay. However, every time we go back to visit, I will say, there's such a familial warmth there. I went to Narayan's home and his mom was cooking us this wonderful Italian food and just cooking and cleaning and cooking and cleaning. I was like, this is wonderful. Why did you have to leave? But it is that familiar warmth of just being taken care of, right? But there's always disappointment that comes with that. There's always conditions. There's always limits. And that's why we're trying to tune into the unconditional familial warmth of our Divine Mother and Heavenly Father, because theirs is really the only true comfort in our lives that's everlasting. So the other part of this equation is the inner battle. So God tests us first with the outer battles. Are you going to make it through your family or friends or partner or whoever it is telling you that you're crazy and that this is a terrible thing that you're doing? You step through that, over that hurdle, and then you're met with your own self, the little self. And I don't mean the infinite self that's within all of us, I mean the ego. And the ego, or Maya, or however you want to word it, gives us all sorts of tests along the journey. And I was reminded of the terribly can't say it's beautiful. It's a terrible story, but it's a great story, and it's a divine lesson for all of us from the Mahabharata on the life of Karna. And Karna is a great tragedy because he is heir to the throne. He is actually he's the eldest Pandava brothers. The Pandava brothers are our heroes in the story, but Karna has set himself up through the whole story as the greatest adversary of our main hero in the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna. And Karna, he doesn't know that he's one of the Pandava brothers. He knows that he has this mysterious armor that he was born with that's made of gold, and he shines like a prince, but he doesn't quite know why, because he was raised by a charioteer and his mother, and in a poor home with no status, no nothing. But he happens to be the greatest archer in the world, and so he's befriended by the worst sort in the story, Duryodhana, who represents King Material Desire. And Material Desire is very friendly with Karna. He says, I recognize your greatness. No one else does. I love you. I'm loyal to you. I'll give you everything that you want. I'll give you kingdoms and prestige and fame and fortune, everything you can want. And Karna goes, wow, this is great. No one's ever treated me like this before. And so, of course, he says, you're my best buddy. And the thing about Karna, Yogananda said that he represents attachment. Now, attachment, we know, is a tricky thing. We get attached to something outside of us, and it's always taken away from us in one way or another, or disappoints us in one way or another. So Karna has become attached to material desire. This is an allegory. This represents each of us, right? Our inner journey. And Karna is given then every opportunity, once he gets to the battle, to make the right decision. He's told by his mother, his real mother, who's Kunti, who's the mother of the Pandava brothers, I'm your real mother. I'm so sorry. I sent you down the river when you were a baby. I couldn't take it. I was too young. But really, you're my eldest son. You're heir to this whole kingdom. And he's like, oh my God, that's incredible, but I'm sorry. I love my friend King Material Desire. And so she leaves. And then Krishna, who is the guru to everyone pretty much, comes to him and says, you're the king. You're your brothers. You're gonna fight and kill your brothers? You can't do this. And he's like, you're right, this is terrible. How could I possibly kill my brothers? But I can't kill King Material Desire. He's my truest and closest friend. I have to be loyal to my truest and closest friend. You see where we miss the point? We think loyalty is loyalty to things we're familiar with, to our family, to our friends, to those relationships that we've grown up with, those ideals that we've grown up with, the beliefs that we've grown up with. We're attached to them. And we don't see the deeper truth beyond it all, the essence of everything. So we can say, well, yes, I have a love and for my family, I have a love for my nature, but what do we love beyond all of that is divine truth. And when we can feel the truth and we take one step to follow it, then we're met, right, with opposition. But if we can keep moving, keep fighting, then we gain more courage. Narayan said to me, when he told me what our topic was for this week, victory demands the courage of our convictions. He said, this is a good topic for you. And I said, why? And he said, because you're so courageous. I was like, the only reason I'm courageous is because on reflecting on my life, I realized that all of the really terrible decisions I made were because I was following peer pressure. I felt drawn into something. I knew it wasn't right. We know, we have a conscience we're brought in with. We have an innate understanding of what will take us towards the light and what will bring us towards the darkness. But we just don't always choose those things. And so the more we can turn ourselves to the light and stand up for what we know is right, stand up against our own habits and desires and attachments that we can feel are pulling us down, the more we'll progress spiritually, and the more we can help others. The more we think, oh, well, I can't leave my family or my friends. What will they do? How can we help anyone if we're not bathed in that divine light? So the more we saturate ourselves, the more we can share that love with everyone.